Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome. I'm so glad that everyone's here. We are going to, hey, Jerry, it's so good to see your face.
Thank you. I figured out the camera this week.
I love it when we get to see people. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It looks so Christmassy at your house. I
Oh, thank
just
you.
I just took out a candle. That's as far as I've gotten. I still have all my fall stuff up. So
And it's freezing
Yep.
here. It's 27 degrees, so
oh,
it's
oh yeah,
super
it's
cold.
That's just what I was going to ask you, how cold it is there.
It's
yeah,
really
I see
cold.
your cute little hat.
I think it's 67 here.
Okay.
Yeah,
No, it's colder. Let me see.
she would
I
always
have
say
my
it's colder. She just
yes,
it's always cold.
it's 59.
Oh,
You're off.
well, my eyes
I
can't
knew
see
it.
that far. So thanks for that call out on my age there. I appreciate it.
Hey, calling people out. Are you recording this call?
Oh yeah, it is being recorded. Now we have what is that? Oh no, it's going to be one of those days. We have a record of people being not very nice. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
Oh,
call you out, Kelly. Um, okay, so before we get started, I wanted to tell everybody because sometimes we struggle with the technology. And so if you want to mute yourself, you can mute yourself. And if you want to unmute yourself just to say something temporarily, you can hold down your space bar. So if you hold down your space, you push and hold down your space bar, you can talk, and then once you let go, it will mute you again. So just a little housekeeping there. Um, okay, well, we're going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Does anybody have anything they want to share? Does anybody have a win they'd like to talk about this week before we get started? How
Hmm.
about surviving the holiday? We all survived Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and it was good too. I mean, it was just, a not a big deal. Like I think when I first went plant-based, it was just such a big deal. Like, oh, what are we gonna eat and what am I gonna do? And now it was just so normal.
Yeah.
I made Ann Esselstyn's that Mommy's 3.0 gravy and mashed potatoes and all kind of yummy stuff, and it was great.
Mm. Yeah, our we had a completely vegan meal, which that's the first time that someone has gone out of their way to do that. And it was a surprise to me. You know, I knew that I would have things there, but I wasn't expecting all the things there. And it was so good. And it was just such a nice, enjoyable, there was no stress, there was no I had watched a comedian earlier last week, and she said the reason I went vegan is for the holidays, so I could drive everybody crazy. And I thought that's exactly what my family thinks. They think that's why I went vegan was so I could bother them at the holidays. That was not why I did it. So
For
anyway,
the things that you're not eating,
yes,
the things
yes.
you're not eating.
Yes, that bothers people so badly, and I don't understand it, but I'm sure I was one of those people beforehand. So, it is what it is. Okay, well, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to get started.
Hey,
I'm going to try to
wait,
share
say
my
it really
screen.
fast. Hi, Lolly.
Wait,
where's
wait.
that coming from?
Hi,
You got,
baby. How are you?
Good.
oh,
Oh
so
my gosh,
sweet.
that's so much fun. That was such
Okay,
a
we're gonna
surprise.
mute again. He just wanted to tell you hi before you
Oh,
got started.
okay. Well,
Oh,
I'm
that's
so
so cute.
glad. Thank you. Okay, so now what was I doing? I was sharing my screen. Now I'm totally off. Things. Okay, so welcome. Today we are going to talk about being kind and patient with yourself. And I just think this is such an important topic, especially right now, because we know we talked about Thanksgiving and we joked about the fact that we bother people because of the things that we choose not to eat. And in the grand scheme of things, that's really silly. That's very silly that people would care that we're not eating something or that someone would be offended by that. And sometimes we bow to that pressure, and sometimes we just want that pie. right? Sometimes we just are hungry and or maybe we're not even hungry. Maybe it just brings us back. It's a comfort food that we enjoyed so much growing up, or it's just a part of who we are, and we partake in that. And it's okay. It is okay. And being kind and patient, I feel like I can do with everybody but me. This is a big deal for me because um, I'm very hard on myself. My children are very hard on themselves. My husband is very hard on himself. And so it that's just that was how I grew up. So this is a really big deal for me, and it has had a negative effect as long as I can remember. And I didn't even realize it until I got older, until I really started on this path when I realized that none of us are perfect, right? I mean, I don't expect anybody else to be perfect. So why do I expect that from myself? Why am I that hard on me? So, you think about it that um, we're learning to course correct every time we go off plan because what we're doing is we are changing our lifestyle. We're not on a diet. We are not on some crash course trying to lose 10 pounds so we can go back to eating the way that we've always eaten, right? Because I'm sure we've all done that before. We've lost the weight and we've put it back on because we did whatever we had to do to lose the weight. And then we go back to the way we used to eat. And then we're back on it again, right? We've gained it all back. So we're going for progress, not perfection. We're learning to get back on track and win the next meal or win the next workout. Our number one failure point is mismanagement of expectations because I can remember when I started this journey 100 pounds ago, I can remember thinking, I'll never get there. I will never get there. And we act like it took us, 30 minutes to gain 50 pounds. So we should be able to lose that in at least 2 weeks, right? I mean, we're all about that fast mentality. And it took me a long time. Kelly actually shared a picture of me with my mom today, and I opened, it's really not funny. I wish I had the picture. I opened the text message. I was standing in the checkout line at Walmart, and it scared me. I was so large. And I just thought, I went, and I thought, oh my gosh, the people around me think I'm crazy. But it startles me to think that that's what I was like. And to think that I have been able to work, and it's been hard to work to get to where I am now. That mismanagement of expectations is um, sometimes it can depress us because we think it's not happening fast enough. And the reality is that life goes on and we're going to have stressors, and we have to learn to deal with those stressors. We can't we can and we will. Sometimes we'll fall short and we'll fall back into the way of life that we are used to, of what's comfortable for us. But we have to learn to not sweat the small stuff and to be kind to ourselves and win the next time, right? We don't wait until we don't wait till the next day. We don't wait till the next Monday because that's a big deal. I'll start again on Monday. And in that period of time, you can do a lot of damage, not only to your caloric intake, but to your mindset. And it can be very defeating. So we want to stay away from that as much as possible. Um, when things don't go as we expect, right? Things don't go the way we wanted them to go. Do either one of these pictures look familiar to y'all? I want you to think about when there's a problem, when you maybe don't do what you wanted to do. How would you talk to your child? How would you talk to your grandchild? How would you talk to your friend? Would you talk to them in that tone of voice that you're talking to yourself? I'm useless. I can't do this. I'll never be able to do this. You don't want that for the people that you love. So why would you treat yourself any differently? So that to me is a really big deal.
You would be like, if it was one of my granddaughters, I would be very encouraging to them, to encourage them that, hey, it's okay, you made a mistake. Now, this is what we're going to do moving forward. But you're right, we're not always that way with ourselves. We're much harder on ourselves than we are with the people around us.
Absolutely. And it can be devastating. So, if and I want you to think about this when it's time to do your workout or when it's time to go in and fix your meal, I want you to think about that if this was an easy journey, everybody would be super fit and there would be no illness in the world, right? Everybody would be super healthy. It's hard. It's hard and we have to learn to deal with that. And we need to learn to deal with it because for some of us, we've been dealing with this for a really long time. This has been this has been part of my life for as long as I can remember. I can remember my mom buying me Pretty Plus clothes out of the J.C. Penney's and the Sears catalogs. That's my youngest childhood memory. And so, you think about we have to learn to deal with it. If we'll stop and we'll think, I'm getting ahead of myself, but if we'll stop and we'll think about it, it makes it easier to make those decisions, to make the decisions that are going to serve us. And the biggest environment that we have control over is in our head, right? You think of the things that you say to yourself. And I think you said it this morning, Kelly. You said when you got up this morning that, Kelly has this routine where she gets up in the morning and she knows that she's going to go work out because if she doesn't get her workout done in the morning, she's not going to get it done. And you have a choice when you get up. Your choices are I can either work out or I can wait and do it later. And in my case, if I wait and do it later, everything, the day's going to get busy and it's going to get crowded out and it's not going to happen. So what works for me is to put my clothes out. Like I have a garden tub and I'll put my shoes and my workout clothes right there. So when I get up in the morning, that's the first thing I see. And eventually your brain will start saying, this is who I am. I am this person. I go and I take a walk every morning, or I go and I lift weights every morning, or I do whatever. You set up your environment to make yourself successful. And it really does work. Sometimes it seems like it's kind of iffy when you say things like that, but it really does work. So, what happens when you don't want to eat healthy and you don't want to exercise? What if you even have your meals planned? What if you even have it in the refrigerator and you don't feel like eating it? You know, that's part of discipline. And I can tell you that I have never, in my 56 years of existence, ever gotten up and eaten something that was healthy and was sad that I did it. I've never been like, man, I hate it that I did that. I wish I would have eaten something else. I've never finished a workout when Kelly and I would run together. We ran almost every day together. And every time I'd be like, man, I don't want to go out here and run. I hate doing this. I don't want to do it. And I would be like, if I'm going to run for 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes, if I still don't feel like doing it, I'll give myself permission to quit. That 5 minutes is the key. Because if you go out and you start walking and you're 5 minutes in, you're already starting to feel good. You're like, man, I'm so glad I'm outside, or I'm so glad I'm moving. Give yourself that opportunity to not quit because discipline is hard, but it is so worth it. And we have the free will to decide how are we going to spend our time? It's really easy to sit and watch TV, to watch football, to watch sports, to just binge on something, or, pick up that phone or that tablet and just scroll because we can get lost for hours in that. And so do something that's going to serve you. When you have that extra time, you do something that's going to benefit you, that's going to take care of you. I ran across the scripture in my reading this week, and it's from Psalm 119:37, and it says, "Turn my eyes from looking at worthless things." And the first thing that came to my mind was social media, because we will sit and we can check out. If you really pay attention, you can be standing in the grocery store line and pick up your phone and start looking just so you can just kind of get out of the moment. So we need to be present in what we're doing, and we need to be aware, because when we're not aware, um, you know, if you're watching a football game and everybody's snacking, what are you going to do? I'm going to snack. I just am. That's just who I am. I mean, if everybody else is eating, I'm like, I want to get in there too. And then you figure out that it's mindless eating. It's kind of like me with popcorn. I really have to watch myself with popcorn, because I will just eat popcorn because it's so easy to do. Um, I guess what I'm trying to say is that we know that eating right and exercising is not always fun, but we're never sorry that we did it. You know, um, you deserve that. You deserve to take care of yourself that way. And we need to focus on the priorities. When we wake up in the morning, we need to know that today we need to take care of ourselves, because most of us in this group are the caregivers, right? We take care of everybody else, and we don't really have a lot of people taking care of us. And we kind of like it that way. I do. I love taking care of people. I get joy from that. I laughed. I washed my first load of clothes today that had no little people clothes in it, and it was it was different. I'm not used to that. So when we focus on our goals, it'll help us reach. It'll help us get to where we want to be. We all have hard things that we're going to deal with, and it's easy to hide in food. When things get rough, it's easy to just go in the kitchen and just pick up something, and temporarily it may make you feel better, but it's all it is. It's temporary. And so we need to stop and think um before we go off on that tangent, before we make those decisions, and we need to spend our energy on focusing on the positive things, the things that are going to help us get to where we want to be. You know, when you think about how long have you been wrestling with your weight, um, to me, this is the time right now. This is the time that we end that wrestling, and that we end that battle, and we focus on our goals, not on our failures, but we finish the job. We stop trying to put a band-aid on what's gotten us here, and we fix the root cause. And the root cause is always going to be the food. Anybody have anything? I'm talking really fast. I can't hear you, Kelly, but you look like
Oh,
you're saying,
she might have been saying something. I feel like I'm having a hard time figuring out what my why is, even though it's for
mm,
health reasons. But I don't know. I can't. It was easier when I was younger to be disciplined.
yeah, yeah, I get
Does that
that.
make any sense? So I can't figure out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, every once in a while I get a glimpse. For me, my why was I knew that I was in trouble with my health because I was so overweight, and my parents had such issues. And I knew, I don't even think I was looking for a why. I just knew that I was in trouble.
Mm.
And I I can raise my grandkids, and that's a big deal for me. That's a really big deal for me. And I have to say that sometimes I forget that I like to do that. And then I do it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I can still beat them. um, the why is very important. And maybe even at the end of the day, and this sounds so, a lot of times the why is because I want to be there to take care of people. You know, that's the legacy I want to leave for my kids and for my grandkids, is that I did the very best I could to take care of myself. And I want to leave them. That's what I want them to know, that this is normal. because in today's world, this is not normal. I don't feel like it is. I feel like when you see pictures of people and, that the norm now that even our mannequins are are very large, I think that speaks volumes to our society. And I think about the sickness and what I think watching my parents and my in-laws suffering the way that they did. Kelly just raised her hand. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it totally threw me off. Um, was really hard for me. Yes, Kelly.
Gonna say my why is, I don't want to just live a long time. I
Mhm.
want to live a long time and live it healthfully because my daughter and son-in-law, they own um, several assisted living homes. And it's just so sad to me. It's so sad. And, I mean, because those people that are in the homes are just like you and me, I mean, but their health took a turn for the worse. And I just don't want to be, I don't want to say it like, I, I don't want, I want to be when I'm older somebody that can contribute to the conversation and be a positive to be around and in my family's life and my kids' life. I guess I don't want to be a burden to them. I don't want to be somebody that they have to take care of, or I just want to be the best version of myself that I can be. And that's like really important to me. And this week to Kim, I saw this post in, I don't know, maybe it was in Plant Strong or something, but it was a lady that it showed her in a hospital bed. She had a triple bypass, and then she went plant-based. And then the next picture was of her and her friend running like a 5K or something like that.
Within a year,
And she
wasn't it?
said, I've really struggle. She said, I am plant-based now, but I still really struggle with certain foods. I want to eat them. I'm paraphrasing. I don't know how she said it. She was like, I want to eat them, but I don't want to end up in the hospital having my chest opened up again like that. And I thought, that's really scary to me that food has that big of a hold on us and our society and people that here is this lady that, she's literally had her chest cut open, sawed open, and had this surgery, and she's still struggling with food addiction. That I think that says just so much about our society and where we're at right now. And I don't know. That's my why. I just want to be a better version of myself for my family.
Yeah. Um, well, you see this screen that's transformation is hard and that we can embrace the process. Um, I've always been the kind of person that's been like, well, if somebody else can do it, I can too, right? Um, when I was pregnant with our daughter, I remember thinking, oh no, I'm gonna have to do this. You know, this is real. I'm gonna have to do this. And I remember the moment that I thought, millions of other people have done this, so can I. Um, if other people can transform, so can we. And we need to believe that. And we need to also realize that we're learning while it's happening, right? We've never done this before. We've never been in this moment before. And so, again, we have to be kind to ourselves because we're learning, right? So if we go in and we eat the chips or we eat the whatever, it's okay. It's not a win or lose right there. It's a learn. We're going to learn and we're going to go forward and we're going to just be better for what we've learned. And the longer that we do this, the better, more experienced we become, right? So we're not so pressured. We know we've been in this. Okay, so we've been in that type of atmosphere before, and we know how to respond now. We might not have responded very good the first time, but we're better the second time. And I want you to think something that really has impacted me a lot is things that have shaped you in your life have been hard, right? Those are the things that that's when you learn is when things are hard. That's when you become better, right? Because you have to. You either go forward or you fall backwards. So we just need to embrace the process of changing because we have to change in order to get better. Again, we talk about stopping and thinking and that we need to think differently. So before we eat, we need to slow down so we can make better choices. If we put ourselves in that Sunday football, I don't know if football's still going on, I think it is. If you put yourself into that Sunday football atmosphere, you're going to want to eat, right? So make sure if you're going to go do that, you bring things that you can eat. And the more you do it, the stronger you feel. And you have to think of what serves you in that moment. Is it temporary satisfaction of eating the cookie or eating the piece of cake? Or is it the satisfaction over your long-term health? Because that long-term health, we live in a fast society and people want that instant thing. But again, it took us a while to get here. It's going to take us a while to get out, and we're going to have to change what we think. And we cannot wait to get back on track, right? We're going to win the next meal. We're going to win the next workout. We have got to keep our focus on that. Um, the longer that it takes us to get back on track, the more delayed our transformation is going to be. And everyone here is capable of that transformation. And you need to believe that of yourself. You just do. Um, and so this was a big deal for me that you can't outrun a bad diet. I want you to hear that because it's really easy to think I ate terrible today, so tomorrow I'm just going to starve. I'll fast tomorrow because I ate bad today, or I'll do triple workouts tomorrow to try. You can't do that. You can, but you will exhaust yourself and then you'll end up giving up. So it's better to stop and think before you eat, slow down and make better choices, that you think about what you're doing and that um, it's not a treat. It's not a treat if it makes you feel bad. And it's not a treat if it doesn't promote your health. And it took me a long time to stop thinking of it like that. I'm like, but I want a treat. Well, that's not a treat. It's not a treat if it doesn't serve me. And we've got to make sleep a priority. I am preaching to the choir right now. I have tried really hard to implement that 10-3-2-1 sleep rule. So to try to get your body into a routine, getting yourself ready to go to sleep. And that is that you stop caffeine 10 to 12 hours before bed if you're caffeine sensitive. Um, and I know some of us are. 3 hours before bed, you stop eating because your body has one job, and that your body wants to digest. So if there's food to digest, it's not going to rest. It's going to digest. It can't do its healing process during at night if it's trying to digest all that you've eaten right before you lay down. And then 2 hours before bed, you stop working. And 1 hour before bed, you turn off all your screens, and that includes the TV. I encourage you to try to pick up a book. To try, all my books are on Kindle, so that's a problem for me. Um, but if you will pick up a book and or just sit without the screens on for an hour, it will be um, it's amazing when you realize how much you do, how much you're on your screens, how much you're watching TV, how much, when that comes into play. So I encourage you to try to make your sleep a priority and try not to use the snooze button in the mornings. I know that that's probably very sensitive for some people, but that is like a jarring thing. And if you don't set that snooze, you can sleep that extra 10 minutes and it will be good quality sleep. That instead you're reaching over there hitting that button trying to make it stop, and then you got to go back to sleep, and then it wakes you right back up. So I encourage you, if you can build in that extra 10 minutes, take that extra 10 minutes, and when that alarm goes off, get out of bed. I'm just saying it helps. Um, and that's all I have. Does anybody have any questions or comments? We have a couple minutes left.
I guess one of the things, I'm sorry about my computer being moved around quite a
No, you're
bit.
good.
The battery was going bad, but so I succeeded on weight loss with Weight Watchers. So I have the Weight Watcher app and have been paying for it for years, but I don't really use it. But I feel like that's the only way I can lose weight.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like I'm addicted to having it, and I do use it a little bit, but like a sweet potato is 4 points and that's half your points. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I can convince myself that I can lose weight without using the Weight Watcher app.
It it is an unlearning process. It is definitely, I have had to unlearn so many things doing this lifestyle. I really have. Because you think about that, the most long-lived people in the world, their main food is sweet potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
And they eat them all day long. And you think about that, the point system and how that works out. And I don't know why a sweet potato would be bad. You
It's just
know,
high in points for some
yeah,
reason. I'm
I
not
know,
sure.
but you think, but like I said, it's an unlearning process, and it's hard to do. It's
Mm-hmm.
really hard to do.
Point that I always highly recommend like tracking your food in, my Fitness Pal or Chronometer, which are free,
When I
because
use,
I think it's an eye-opening experience that truly gives a true picture of what you're eating, how many calories you're taking in, and because you don't want to have to do that the rest of your life, like live on a point system or live on calories and say, because what it does is it teaches you how to eat, how much you can eat, and shows you your threshold of where you should be. And to me, that's a better way to live, is not having to, always count points or count calories or anything like that. Just be able to eat and be satisfied. I think that's the goal.
I know, like for me, I use that chronometer app or chronometer or whatever it's called. And I'm not, if I think that I maybe don't feel well or what, I'll start really tracking my calories again just to make sure that I'm getting all the things that I need. But that's what I love about this lifestyle is you want to know what your intake is. And I think most people, including me, I don't realize what my intake is unless I'm tracking it, whether that's writing it down or, because I think you in order to lose, you've got to know where you stand. You've got to know what is your intake and what does that daily movement look like for you.
It teaches you.
It does
It
too.
tells you a lot about yourself.
I'm not familiar with that one, and maybe it would help me to have something that's kind of helping me keep track of something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
I'll
I'm
I'll
used
send
to
it.
it.
I can send it to you.
Okay.
I'll send you the link to the website.
Thank you.
I will, absolutely. Okay, does anybody else have anything before we go? Was this helpful at all?
Very helpful. Thank you.
Very good.
It was really good. I think it was very, very good.
Very
Very
good.
good points.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. It was recorded. We did right this time, so we'll get it up on the page. And if y'all have any questions or have anything you want to see us talk about, just shoot us a message and let us know. I hope everybody has a great week.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.